This is the perfect tense, both the active and the passive. The perfect tense is a past tense. It's a past action that's been completed, a completed action in the past. So if we have our verb to love, amo, amare, amawi, amatus, the perfect tense of this is going to be amawit. There's a few different ways you can translate it. He loved, or he did love, or he has loved. And all three of those are actions that took place in the past. They're no longer happening now. They're completed. So to make the perfect tense, you take your principal parts, amo, amare, amawi, amatus, and you're going to use the third principal part. This principal part, amawi, all by itself means I loved. It has two parts, a stem and an ending. Amawa is the stem and e is the ending. That amal we're going to use to make all of the other forms of the verb. So to get the stem, you take the third principal part and take off the I. You put different endings on it to say different people who are the subject, and the perfect endings are e, isti, it, imus, istis, erunt. And you put these onto the perfect stem. So if you want to say they loved, you use the stem and erunt, or amalwerunt, which will mean they loved, they have loved, or they did love. There are a few patterns that help you differentiate between a perfect tense verb and a present tense verb. And one way to remember them is VL sucks. V stands for the letter V, as in amo, amare, amawi, amatus. There's a V in the third principal part, in the perfect stem, that shows you that it's perfect instead of present. L stands for long vowel, as in video, videre, vidi, visus. The I in vidi is long, where the I in video is short. So in the perfect tense, it has a long vowel, and in the present tense, it has a short vowel. S stands for the letter S, as in eubeo, eubere, usi, usus. In the perfect, it has two S's. Sometimes there's just one. In the present tense, there's a B, so the B changes. So you can tell if it's perfect if it has that S. The U stands for the letter U, like habeo, habere, habui, habitus. There's a U in the perfect that there isn't in the present tense. So the perfect tense has a U. And the X is the letter X, like dico, dicere, dixi, dictus. So an X in the perfect where there's a C in the present. The perfect tense has a family. The perfect, which is verbed or has verbed. The pluperfect, which is had verbed. And the future perfect will have verbed. All the tenses that are perfect are in the perfect family. Remember that imperfect means it's not perfect, so it does not belong to this family. All of these tenses are built using the third principal part, using the perfect stem. And they just have different endings to show the different tenses. So amalwit is he loved, amalwerat is he had loved, and amalwerit is he will have loved. They all have the perfect stem from the third principal part, amaw, A-M-A-V. So if you're in Latin 1, you're finished. In Latin 2, we'll do the perfect passive. So for the same verb, amo, amare, amavi, amatus, the perfect passive form is amatus est. The ways to translate it are he was loved or he has been loved. So receiving the action instead of doing the action. To make the perfect passive, you are going to use the fourth principal part. The fourth principal part all by itself means having been loved. To make it the perfect passive verb, you have to add esse, a form of to be. We're going to add sum est, sumus estis sunt, depending on who is receiving the action. You have to change amatus to agree with the subject. If the subject is plural, amatus needs to be plural. If the subject is feminine, amatus needs to be feminine. So here's an example of a plural. Amati sunt means they were loved, they have been loved. The sunt tells us they. Because it's plural, we have to make amatus plural to amati. Amata est is singular and feminine, so we know the subject is a she. She was loved, she has been loved. So amata est, you have to change amatus to agree with the subject, amata. The perfect passive family is that same group of perfect tenses. For the passive, the perfect is was verbed or has been verbed. The pluperfect is had been verbed. And the future perfect is will have been verbed. All of these tenses are built in the same way. They use the fourth principal part plus a form of esse. You tell the difference between them by what form of esse you use. So amatus est is he was loved. Amatus erat is he had been loved. And amatus erit is he will have been loved. Remember that the imperfect is not perfect, so it doesn't behave this way. It's made a different way. The end.